What goes on, guys? We're back here again with yet another review, and today we are finally going to be taking a look at the Wave 3 of the Masterverse figures, He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelations by Mattel. Now, I couldn't find this wave anywhere. Most of the time I can't find them. I got lucky and found Wave 2, or the figures that I wanted from Wave 2, which there's a review for those on the channel right now. But I wasn't able to find these guys, so I went ahead and ordered them on Big Bad Toy Store. They were in stock, which is kind of rare. And then right after I ordered them, they put up the Savage He-Man and Orko 2-pack up for order, not pre-order. And I was like, shit, I wish I just got them all together, because I just would have threw that in here too. But I didn't order that right now. I gotta, make sure I'm getting the right things right now. But other than that, I'm happy to have these guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging, because it's pretty standard for the line, but I love the artwork that they put on these guys. So first off, you got Fisto here. These are all the same. It'll just have their corresponding names on there. But look at that art. That is awesome. He looks like a badass there. That looks sick. On the back, you get to see him fighting like the undead army. I love that art of Fisto. There's the read-up if you want to look at that. There's the wave. And then there is Fisto's barcode if you need it. They were hitting Walmarts. I don't think they were hitting anywhere else as of right now. But yeah, love the art on these. I wish they would make a giant poster of like all the artwork. Just, man, super cool. Then going to Andra here. She looks good. You get all of her accessories, her name there. On the side it says Andra, nothing really on the top. There is her barcode if you need that. And then on the side you get some awesome artwork of her with her mask on. I like that a lot. That looks super cool. Just as much as I like her on the back. That looks cool, with the laser, which we'll talk about why this is the thing in a minute. Kind of spoilers, just heads up. There's her read up if you need that. There's a little bit of spoilers in here for the second season of Masterverse Revelation, but if you haven't, or Revelation series on Netflix, if you haven't watched it yet, go ahead, do yourself a favor and watch it. It was much better than the first season. But here we go. We got Stinkor. Oh man, that's awesome. He looks really, really nice, but obviously I want to see him out of the packaging. I just kind of got lost in the figure right there. But Stinkor on the side, you get the awesome artwork of Stinkor there with his mask on. You get his tanks in the back there. I love the artwork. And then on the back you get a different piece of artwork, which I also love. Again, you get the wave there. There is his read up. What's that smell? That's funny. That looks awesome. Stinkor on the back. Here is Stinkor's barcode if you need that. At the top it says Masterverse. That looks awesome. And then finally we have Scareglow, and this is the regular release Scareglow. It says Scareglow down there. On the side, Scareglow on the back. Oh man, that art is so sick with like the souls and the fear. That looks so awesome. Fear his glow. I love that. There's his read up, and then on the side you get some more awesome artwork of the character, which is probably my favorite part of this whole series besides the figures themselves, is I love the artwork on these guys. But with all that being said, I think it's time. So let's go ahead and open these guys up. So, taking these guys out of the packaging and, fiddling with them for a little bit, I gotta say, it's another strong wave from Mattel. Now, this line has been my favorite line of the year so far, just for the sense of, I'm not saying they're the best figures, and I'm not saying in fact, I don't think any of them will make my top 10, but just a matter of getting new characters on the shelf that I never have before. And I feel like it was a rough start at the beginning, but I think they found their footing, and they really, really know how to make good figures up at this point, man. And it's very happy for me to say that, because I'm not a huge fan of the Origins line, and obviously I can't go back and get all the Mattel ones. So, or the old one, I don't know. I think Mattel made those too, but I wasn't able to get those, So being able to get a new fresh line on the shelves, that is my favorite line out of all of them anyway. I like these new stylized, updated versions of the characters. Makes me a very happy nerd. So usually what I do in these videos, I go through my least favorite to favorite and just talk about them each individually, get them all done, and then do an overall at the end. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. Starting off with my least favorite, we're going to start with Fisto. So there's nothing, I really like all of them, and it's actually kind of hard to pick which one is my favorite and which one's my least favorite, but I think overall he's my least favorite. And I'll talk about why, but it's not that. It's, again, it could be either or. I do love this head sculpt. That looks awesome. I think his eyes are painted very cleanly. The beard looks awesome. The hair looks awesome. I love that mustache. Very similar to Captain Britain's mustache here. Like they look like they go to the same barber, which I think was pretty funny. But, you know, I love what they got going on here for his head. Going down into the body, it's just another overlay piece, and under it is the same He-Man mold from Series 1, which I'm not a lover or a hater of. I think it's okay. I think the diaphragm joint could be a lot better, but other than that, I love the sculpt of it, and I think the proportions are nice. I like the pinless nature of the figure, I guess. This arm, you know, his regular arm, I guess, just the same bracer as He-Man, I believe, or some variation of it. The upper chest plate looks awesome. The paint looks awesome. It looks like a nice dry brush on it. Maybe not, but it looks like it. The silver paint is very clean, very bright, and very, like, metallic, so I like that a lot. The loincloth has a nice wash on it, but that does cause an issue in a second, which I'll show you. And then his fist is very interesting. I don't think it's metal, but it's harder than the rest of the body. And the top, like the actual fist, feels like die cast a little bit. I highly doubt they did that, but it really does like look and feel different from the rest of the figure. And I've never really felt a plastic like that. Like it honestly seems like it's die cast, which is very interesting. Awesomely interesting, but just interesting nonetheless. But going down into the legs, they are just complete rehashes of He-Man, just in purple flavor, but he did shit himself on the way here. There's this giant smear of brown paint from the wash of the loincloth. It definitely can just be scraped right off if you know you got to do it gently, but it'll come off. I just got to be delicate with it, and I'll take it off before the pictures, but I just wanted to show you guys for the review. But yeah, Scareglow did scare him a little too much in the box on the way here, so he did have a little accident, but other than that, I think he's awesome looking. So let's go ahead and take a look at his accessories, because he comes with the least out of everybody. Yeah, he definitely comes with the least. So for his left non-fisted, non-giant metal fist side, he gets a grippy hand and a flat hand. Okay, cool. And the grippy hand is for his sword. So you pop that in the hand and boom, there you go. You got a nice sword. The metallic paint matches his body very good with the purple over it, and I like that a lot. It looks pretty cool. No real paint on the handle or anything like that. So then obviously you just pop that out and plug in the hand and boom, there you go. I would have liked the vertical hinge, but unfortunately we don't get that here. But yeah, that looks awesome. That looks like Fisto to me. That's pretty cool. So yeah, overall pretty basic accessories, but essential ones nonetheless. So let's go ahead and look at his articulation, because his is slightly different than everybody else's, just in a sense of his right arm, which we'll talk about when I get there. But his head does look up decently, I guess. Does look down all the way. You do get 360 rotations, excuse me, and then a good amount of pivot. So pretty good at the head. I wish it could look up a little bit more, but the shoulders are going to move outwards about that far, which is good. T-pose, rotate 360 on each side, bicep swivel on each side, great double jointed pinless elbows on both sides. The top one's stuck on that one, but it does move. It's just stuck, and I'm not going to break it. And then on this side, you get a swivel and a horizontal hinge on all the hands, which I would have liked the vertical one for the grippy hand. And then you do get a rotation at the base of the gauntlet, and then the top of the fish just rotates. So no hinge there, but that's fine for me. I think it's definitely enough articulation there. I think the swivel of the cuff is kind of mundane, like overkill. I don't really think that needed to be there, but it's all good. The diaphragm joint will kind of just bobble back and forth, and it's not because of the overlay, it's just the mold itself. So a little bit there, a little bit of pivot, actually not bad pivot, and then rotation at the waist, not the top. He will do splitties. They did fix the hips from the first wave, which is awesome. So kicks forward, back, thigh cut with his little poopy on there. You get double jointed knees that go all the way as far as they could, and they are pinless. Top of the boot rotation, and then the ankles are great on these guys, up, down, and pivot. So overall, pretty good articulation on these. I just think the diaphragm joints could be worked a little bit better, and I think a hinge at the head rather than a shitty ball peg would work. So overall, Fisto is really, really nice. I think he turned out very good, and I think he'll go good in the line and look great with everybody else there. So moving along, my next favorite one is probably Andra. So again, it could be interchanged, but I do like this figure a lot. I don't, just because she's at the second to least, it does not mean I don't like her. I like her a lot. So taking a look at the head sculpt there, it looks just like Andra from the show. I think they captured the animated style of her very well, which is really, really nice to see. The arms, like there's a ton of paint on her. You get all this like paint detail from like the straps, just like little buckles painted. The belt is painted nice all the way on the back, little straps. Hasbro, take notes. I don't really like the fact that it's all copyright information on her back, but then again, they covered it with the belt, so it doesn't bother me that much as I thought it would anyway. On this side, you get like 3 different colors just from the lower forearm alone, and on this side, you get the big gauntlet piece, which does come with a cool accessory. It's got a lot of paint on it. It looks very Iron Man-ish. Maybe she's Riri Williams, Ironheart. That'd be cool. But you know, going down here, you get the buckles and the straps all painted. One thing I don't like is they molded the knee joint all in yellow. They should have just painted the top yellow, because now he has those weird lines, which I'm not a big fan of. But you know, it's not terrible. Most of the time, she's gonna be flat. Like, I don't know. It just kind of looks weird, especially from the back. Not too big on that. And then the boots don't really have any paint on them, but she has a lot of paint on her, and I like that a lot. And different textures along the pants, like the leather on the tunic, I guess. I don't really know what that is, but yeah, I like that a lot. She looks really, really cool, and I think she comes with the most accessories. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. She comes with 2 grip hands that are just easily interchanged out, and they have the good colors on them. Then she has 2 splayed open hands, which also have the good colors on them. And then she comes with an alternate head, her mast head, which is easily popped on, so you just pop that off. Boom. Take notes, diamond select, and then pop on the other head. You got to just be careful, because you don't want to break the peg on it like I did with diamond select. And boom, there you go. It looks a little tall on it, but honestly, I think that's for the other accessory that she comes with. For her gauntlet, I like the mask a lot, just taking a closer look at it real quick. I like all the paint on there, and it looks cool. She didn't really wear it in the show, and I'm probably not going to have her wearing that, but I think that looks cool. You do get an effect piece, which is nice. I don't think we've seen that yet in the line. That plugs right into her little blaster wrist thingy majigger. So there you go. That looks awesome. I like that a lot. That's pretty sick. And then you get her big cloak, which I'm not a big fan of this. So the way that I've been doing it, there's no bendy wire in it. So the way I've been doing it is you pop it on there, and then what they expect you to do, I guess, is to like tie it, and then you go ahead and do that, and then it kind of just like sits on her. And she really only wears this with the mask, so if you take the mask off, I would suggest taking the cloak off too. But it doesn't look bad once it's on. The hood, they stitched it really nicely, so it does look cool. But I don't think I'm going to be using this. She really didn't wear this in the show, and I like her like armored, like bare arms kind of thing. And then towards the end of the show, I think she gets a different look, because she does become the new Man of Arms when actual Man of Arms retires. But it's pretty cool. I think it looks all right. Nothing too bad there. Just not my preferred look for the character. I definitely prefer her maskless head. I'll probably have her on the shelf, something like this. So that's pretty cool. Going through her articulation, because she is completely new mold, I think. Unless she might have reused parts from Tila, which I skipped Tila because I'm going to wait for the more classic inspired one. But the head will look upwards that far. It'll look down that much. You rotate 360 and a nice pivot there. Shoulders move upwards that far. Down, they will get hindered by the shoulder pads. These are very stiff, so it'll only go that far forward, that far back. She does have bicep and double jointed pinless elbows on both sides that get about the same. Maybe the side gets a tad bit more, but it's not that big a deal. Great diaphragm joint on here. She'll crunch forward and back a little bit, but she does get really nice pivot, and it rotates a little bit, but she does have a full waist swivel anyway that is hidden by the belt. So this is a good setup here. I like that a lot. The hips will do splits. That's pretty cool. And then she'll kick forward that far, back that far, upper thigh cut beautifully hidden by the top of the boot, I guess that's a giant boot, but double jointed knees that are ugly, like I said, because of the color, but they work great, so that's cool, and they're pinless. Top of the boot rotation, and the ankles go down, up, and pivot beautifully. So overall, very, very good articulated figure, and I think Mattel does a great job with female figures in general, to be honest, especially with like this line, their and their, what do you call it, their Jurassic World Amber Collection, like their Amber Collection series, they do good with the female figures in there. So this is another good release by Mattel. I really like that. So moving right along, just to keep this video from not being about 10 hours long, it's kind of hard between these two, but I think I'm going to go Stinkor. Stinkor is pretty awesome, but the last guy is probably my favorite out of the bunch, which I'll talk about why in a second. But yeah, this is pretty sick. So taking a look at the head sculpt there, I love the blue around the eyes. The yellow looks great in them. The teeth are all painted very, very cleanly, even if you can't really see them because of the mask thing. But this is a harder plastic, so I can't really like bend it out of the way. But yeah, that looks super cool. And you get that little bit of white on the top. I think this is a fully new sculpted body. I don't know if it reuses parts from Beastman. It seems like he does a little bit. Somebody told me in my comments that you're crazy if you think he uses reused parts, but I think he does. I'm going to argue that he does a little bit. I don't have Beastman here to compare it to, unfortunately, but from what I remember about Beastman, I think the legs are the same. Maybe the arms are a little bit different. The forearms are definitely different, obviously, but I think the biceps are the same. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. You do get his tanks back here full of stink, I guess. I don't know what it would be full of, but that's awesome. I might go ahead and cut out the circles in there. Like, I don't like that that's just a solid mold. That kind of bothers me a little bit. You do get his red gloves, and I like that on the gloves they look like texture. Like the seam of the side of the glove is on there. I like that a lot, and that goes for all the hands that he has, which we'll talk about more in a second. But that is really cool in my opinion. I like that a lot. It's the little details that can impress Zach Toys. But I like the white on top of the black, which is hard to do. So I know they probably put like a crap ton of layers on there to make it work. I love the wash and the loincloth, which again is getting reused from He-Man, but I don't mind. That's the whole point of this license, and I think people tend to neglect that this whole point of this license is reuse. That's where He-Man and the Masters of the Universe came from, is reusing molds to make toys. And you know what? As a big stupid nerd like myself, I'm gonna take it. Going down into the boots, you get nice texture. I think these are reused from Skeletor, his weird feet, but you know what? It works for me. And I didn't really talk about the whole apparatus there, but the paint is super clean on there. I like that a lot. Red dot looks good. I love the angles on it. It just looks like Stinkor very much to me. I like this so much. It looks really cool. And he does come with a couple accessories, so we'll take a look at those. He does come with 2 grip hands for each side, and I like that the seam is on them. They're just molded in red. And he does come with a sword, a shield. So I'm gonna pop in the hand there. The way that I usually do it is get it to grip right there, and then angle it down, and then put the arm through there, Captain America style, and boom, there you go. You get his shield, which I do like that a lot as well. It kind of has like a metallic fleck to it, a little bit of marbling, but marbling doesn't bother me. So that looks super cool, him holding that. I like that. And then, you know, obviously you can just take that out and put his flat hand back in. But I think my favorite accessory, and probably most people's favorite accessory, is going to be the interchangeable head. Whoa, I just threw that at the camera, didn't I? But you pop on his other head, and it's his masked head, and boom, you get him wearing his Stinkor mask. His eyes are sculpted differently as well. That looks super cool. I like that. I'm probably going to use the open head. I like that a little bit more. But to have this is awesome too. I kind of wish they made him look angry, not tired. He looks kind of tired here, but I like that a lot too. And the paint is very clean on it, as best as the first one. So overall, another very strong release here and a good amount of accessories. So let's go ahead and take a look at his articulation. Really briefly, the head will look up that far and down not so much, but you do get it to rotate all the way around. You just got to go over the apparatus. Shoulders move up, around, bicep swivel, great double jointed pinless elbows, no forearm rotation, but a rotation and hinge at the hands. The diaphragm joint isn't really going to do much. I would like to see what kind of body he has under there, because it seems like it's fully new sculpted, because this is definitely not Beastman's upper torso. Upper torso was very big on Beastman, but it is all sculpted fur in there, so I'm not really sure. But it goes up, down, rotate at the waist, and a little bit of pivot there, so not great, but not terrible neither. It's enough for Stinkor. The hips will do pretty much the splits. He'll kick forward that far, back that far, upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, top of the boot rotation, and then the ankles will move up, down, and pivot side to side. So again, pretty basic articulation scheme, but it works for Stinkor. I think the arms are a little long, so maybe it could be reused from Beastman. I'm not really sure. I'd have to go pull him out, but I don't have him here with me even to pull out. So awesome figure. Love to have Stinkor on the shelf. I think that's super cool, even if he was barely in the show. So obviously that leaves us with Scareglow, and he is my favorite out of the series. He was, other than Andra, he was in the show the most. He had a couple episodes, and then at the end he had his, fight with Orko. Again, I told you there were spoilers in here, so don't be mad, but I like this head sculpt a lot, and there's something awesome about this head sculpt, which I'm going to do my best to show at the end here, at the end of his section. But yeah, this is super sick. I think it's just reuse of He-Man again, but the paintwork on it is awesome. You get like a broken humerus there. I don't know why it would be broken. Yeah, because it's not on both sides. So he's got a broken humerus, I guess. I don't know if that happened in the show, and I just didn't really notice it. But the paintwork on there is super cool. You get all the like carpals and phalanges all painted on there, which, sorry, I like to talk science. That's the bones in the hand. So this is the humerus, the ulna, the radius, the carpals, the metacarpals, and the phalanges in the fingers. His femur bones are painted. It does get broken up by the scheme there, the thigh swivel there, but it doesn't really bother me. And then it seems like they painted just the top of the tibia and fibia, which is kind of interesting because you really don't see that at all. Like if I rotate it around there, the tibia and the fibia, which is interesting, but that's pretty cool. And then you get the rib cage all painted here with a little bit of the spinal column in the back. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. It's all very clean. There's a little bit of black in there, which I wish kind of filled in because it's like right smack in the center of the chest, but it's always hardest to paint there. That head sculpt on the skull looks awesome. I love the wash on there. I wish it was a little bit heavier because on this side it looks phenomenal, but then on this side it kind of just goes away. Unfortunately, the orange eyes look great. The texture of the top of the cape looks really nice. I like that silver painted in there. The metallic purple of the gauntlets and the belt looks awesome, and it does go into the boots, which kind of look like Scareglow a little bit, but I don't really care. And I like the top of the boot with the silver on there. That looks really good. This tunic looks nice, and they do have cuts in it to help with the articulation, which we'll show in a second. And then obviously he does have a soft goods cape, which is not cheesy cloth at all, like cheesecloth. Like it's not like that. It's very flowy, and I like all the tears and scrapes. So I was obviously not somebody who was fortunate enough to get the SDCC exclusive version of this guy, but I'm happy that I didn't, because I don't know if it warrants that much more. Because I think that thing was like $50 or something like that. I'm very happy to just have this one. I don't need that other one now, because this one still has the feature that I wanted it to have, a glow-in-the-dark head. So I'm going to do my best to try and get him to absorb some light here. Absorb that up. Luckily, my lights are right here. So absorb that. And then I'll go ahead. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that glows nice. There are some red UV lights in here, but you can still clearly see that his head is glowing very nice on camera. So that is super cool to see. Let me do that again. Man, I didn't expect it to glow that good. I wish the red lights weren't there, but you can still see it very clearly. So again, 3, 2, 1. Wow, that is super badass. I like that a lot. I can see his reflection in the fridge right next to me, so that is super cool to see. I like that so much. I'm very happy that they still gave this figure that feature, so very happy to see that. He does come with a couple accessories too. Obviously he doesn't come as much as the SDCC exclusive version, but so be it. I don't really care. He does come with this glaive, I believe is what it's called. Looks pretty sick. There's some like metallic green on like certain parts of it, like on those little rivets there, and then at the top of the blade, which is awesome. And he can hold this very easily. It just pops right into thine hand. I like that a lot. And then I think all the other comes with is like a come here finger. I like that. All the fingers are painted on there. And then he just comes with a splayed hand, which is kind of like translucent, they're all kind of translucent. I guess I should mention that. But yeah, that is super, super awesome. This figure is so cool. I'm just going to quickly do the articulation because he's the most similar to He-Man out of the rest of them, I believe, because he doesn't even have like anything up here. So obviously you get the big torso joint, which does work nice. You get a waist swivel. The head will move upwards that far, down that much, rotate 360, and a little bit of pivot in there. Shoulders move up, down. Ooh, clicking it. Rotate 360. Thought I broke something for a second, but I did not. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and then wrist swivel and hinge. The hips move outwards to the splits, which is nice. He'll kick forward that far. The tunic really does not get in the way at all. It's very soft plastic. Back. Upper thigh cut. Again, it does break the femur a little bit, which, fun fact, if you break your femur, you're probably going to die. But double jointed pinless knees, top of the boot rotation, and then the ankles move down all the way, up pretty far, and pivot on the ankle. So boom, damn, he looks good. And they all look really, really good. So let's go ahead and get all these guys together. I'm going to try to just do this really quick. So pop that in his hand. You got Scareglow. You got Fisto, which, you know, if you watch the show, he had a very iconic line. I don't know who approved that. It's kind of ridiculous. You got Andra, and then you get the main man, Stinkor. So these guys look so awesome together. I don't really have anything to compare them to. They're just kind of your standard sized action figures. I guess something I compare them to is, Zombie Cap is always available. He is a little festive for the holidays. These are 7-inch scale figures, so they're going to be taller than most. But in the spirit of keeping this video not 3 hours long, I guess I'm going to go ahead and give you my final thoughts on these guys. So I know you guys are asking yourself, what are those final thoughts? And I got to say, another very strong wave from Mattel. I can't wait to get these deluxe sets of Trapjaw and Triclops. I need that 2-pack of Orko and Savage He-Man still, because I'm going to use that Savage He-Man for something else, which I'll talk about in that video. And Orko is a must. I really like those deluxe characters, like Gray Skull. That'll be super cool to get. And I hope they make more. Apparently, there is a lot more on the way. Getting these makes me wish we get a couple other figures. He makes me wish we would get some Army of the Undead. Like, give us some army builders of, like, Castle Grayskull, like the Arms Troopers, and then, like, like the Undead Army. I would like army builders of both of those. That would be really cool. He makes me need a Clamp Champ. Please give us Clamp Champ. We need that. Getting him, they were on the screen for about the same amount of time. I would love to get a Clamp Champ for sure. She kind of doesn't really make me need anybody in particular, but he makes me want a Clawful very bad, because I think Clawful was even in the show more than he was. But, what are you going to do? I am going to be doing a video of top 10 figures I want to see from the Masterverse, so I'll save some for that. But yeah, really, really awesome set of figures. I'm going to give them each their individual ratings and then an overall rating of the wave. So Scareglow, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. He is awesome. He is really awesome. I think the only thing that could have made it better is if all the bones were glow in the dark, but I didn't really expect that to happen. Fisto, he'll get a 8 out of 10 because the diaphragm joint really doesn't move on him, and he's got some QC issues. Andrea will get a 9 out of 10. She is really, really, really nice. And Stinkor gets a 9 out of 10 as well. Just slight issues there. I don't like that these aren't, like, circled in. The cloak on her is a little finicky, but overall, the wave is getting a solid 8 out of 10 for me. It is an awesome, awesome wave, and I love this line so much. I can't wait to the day when I can put a display together and have everybody standing in front of my vintage Castle Grayskull. Even if it's not nearly to scale, I'm totally fine with that. So with that, I believe that's all I have for today. So if you have not already, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do yourself and me the favor and do all those things. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. I took a bunch of pictures of these guys all together and individually, and I believe that is all I have for today. So, as always, you copping any of these guys? Let me know. Also, let me know who you'd like to see in the line. But I'll see you in the next one. Peace.